common way of making fast string crossings clean and efficient. It utilizes the hand, and here's how to develop it. All right, let's talk about how to make those string crossings efficient using silent arpeggio. Here's what the exercise looks like. The idea behind it is to open up the motion of the hand from the wrist joint. We're going to start with our bow on the E string just above the balance point. And if you don't know what the balance point is, it's the point at which the frog and the tip are evenly balanced. This is our easiest place to make string crossings happen. So starting just above the balance point on the E string, be sure that your elbow is nice and low. It's going to remain low for the whole exercise. Now I want you to go to the G string by lifting your hand up and showing your palm. Now the showing of your palm is a little extreme. We will rarely use this much motion when we are doing string crossings, but that's intentional. We want to expand the range of motion to a point that's beyond what we'll ever actually use in a piece. As you first do this, it's very likely that you'll initially drag the elbow up a little bit along with the hand. That's fine, just make sure that when you go back to the E string, the elbow leads the motion. And then as you get better at the exercise, strive to keep the elbow pretty much stationary and low the entire time. Remember that the goal of the exercise is to unlock this joint. Now, as you're doing this, you also want to keep it as silent as possible, hence the name silent arpeggio. One thing that will help you to be able to do this is to make sure that you are maintaining your arm weight in the stick even while you're rolling. And so you'll notice that my bow hair is very much compressed, right? The stick of my bow is actually touching the hair. That means there's a reasonable amount of arm weight hanging in it. This is going to help it to stay silent. Now, if you have any sort of release noises like I'm getting, that's totally fine. What we want to avoid are any sort of sideways scratches. That's the sound that we're trying to avoid, and that means that we're not being totally balanced when we're rolling. Of course, when we're playing actual pieces, we want to be able to make string crossings completely silently, and that's what this is practicing. As you get better at this, draw your attention to making sure that your bow is also staying straight with the bridge as you're making the string crossings. This motion is hugely beneficial, and we use at least a little bit of an aspect of the flexibility gained from it in essentially every string crossing. Even when you're employing the slowest form of string crossing, which is basically moving the whole arm, we still follow the rule of thumb that the elbow leads the string crossings when heading towards higher strings, and the hand leads string crossings when heading towards lower strings. And in order for that to work, we need flexibility in the wrist joint. That flexibility is developed in my students by doing silent arpeggio daily. As with our other exercises so far, do it a lot of times for the first week, get really used to the motion. It'll probably be very awkward at first, but it won't take long on this exercise to get comfortable as long as you're doing it in the right way. After this is comfortable, I'd imagine after a week or two, you can reduce it to doing it somewhere around 10 times a day. And that'll be enough to daily prime your body to have this motion accessible to you. With that, we've covered all of my foundational bow exercises for string crossings. Check out this video for the bow exercise that will help you to have smooth bow changes.